Welcome back. It is Bus Picks, episode 44?
44.
Wow. 44. That's a lot of episodes. Don, what's up? How's your day going? Week 3?
Yeah, week 3. It's no one understands anything about football right now. Bad teams are good teams are bad, and I don't know what to think.
I couldn't have been more wrong about anything. We're going to get into that next week. Next week, we're going to do where we were right, where we were wrong.
Yeah, quarter season.
But I'm getting there. This episode, I'm going to be diving my feet because I've completely 180'd on a lot of takes. And some stuff I'm getting more stubborn about, and I'm stamping my feet into the ground. I think I've gotten one thing right, and we'll talk about it later.
All right. Well,
Don, give me a fact of the day.
Fact of the day. So there was a 4-year stretch from 2017 to 2020 that the number one overall pick in each of those 4 drafts saw a tie before they saw a win.
What year?
2017 to 2020.
2017. So that's Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
That's so number one overall pick. So that's Myles Garrett in 2017, Baker Mayfield, Kyler, and then Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. They all saw ties before
They
won a
all
game.
tied. They all tied. So Myles Garrett went 0-17 before he tied on the last game of the season. Baker Mayfield went 0-1 and then tied in game 2. Kyler went 0-3 and then tied in game 4. And then Joe Burrow went 0-2 and tied in game 3. All 4 of them in a 4-year stretch tied before they actually won a game.
I miss a good old tie. It's been a while. Last year we didn't get a single tie.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a tie.
I think we're due. That's why I wanted to talk about
We're
it, because
due.
that was the first time in the NFL history that we had that kind of stretch.
Crazy fact, by the way. I never even thought that could be a thing.
I don't know why correlations like that just pop up. But and then last year's tie, I think it was like the 5th or 4th year ever in NFL history we didn't have a tie over the entire season.
Yeah, so we're due for one this year.
We're due.
Should we start just
Taking
our shots on overtime games, like tie? This game's gonna end in tie.
I want to start betting more OTs.
I feel like it's a bet. Like I've been betting odds a lot this year.
Sure.
Where I'll just be like halftime score's gonna be odd, and then I'm like 7-1. It's my best bet. It's just full chance, and I love it.
Yeah, it's fun to roll those dice.
Don, let's get into the replay review. So we're gonna go through every single game from week 3.
Yeah.
Give it a quick review about how we felt they went.
Sure.
Let's start with the Patriots and Jets. Thursday Night Football happened a while ago. So I'm going to start with the Patriots very quickly.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots lied to us. I think they looked at us. They said we knew they were going to be bad before the season started.
Okay.
They beat the Bengals, and we were like, hey, maybe this team's not going to be so bad. They're bad, and maybe the Bengals are just that bad also.
I think, people misinterpreted that a little bit, thinking the Patriots were on the upswing, where it's like, no, the other team may have just been rocky. But no, Rodgers turned back the clock. He impressed me. Like, I think the dink and dunk is working for him. Like, he doesn't have the deep arm as much anymore.
I mean, he threw a dime to Braylon Allen a few weeks ago, like week 2.
But
Alan Lazard got a nice little hefty bomb.
out of his 27 completions this week, 15 were within 10 yards.
Yeah.
8 were behind the line of scrimmage.
Good.
He had 4 completions over 10 yards, nothing over 15.
Well, did you hear what they asked him? They asked him about the Mel Kiper rule. They're like, why are you doing this? He's like Mel Kiper said, 2-eye safety. I'm just playing what they give me.
No, and I agree.
That's what Patrick Mahomes doing the same thing.
Yeah, the dink and dunk is death by 1,000 cuts. It's working really well.
Don't Brady won Super Bowls doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just not meaning as an insult.
I mean, you and Aaron Rodgers have a rocky relationship.
I mean, I don't think he's as elite anymore. He did show some mobility that I was very surprised about, but considering
at this point,
Judon is out, that defense was really gutted.
Oh, Judon's a Falcon now.
Who's middle line? No, they're missing. Patriots are missing their middle linebacker.
I don't. Yeah. I'm not quite sure, but they just, that defense was not as good. I think the Jets have kind of impressed me, and they're exactly the Jets I thought they were going to be. I think they're going to be messing around the wild card. I think they're going to be in that. I think they're going to be flirting with it all year.
Yeah, they're going to be in that conversation.
Yeah. I like what the Jets are doing. I don't really have much to say about them except for Rodgers doing enough to give the Jets fans hope, and that's really all the Jets
fans
have been asking for years.
Bless you.
Thank you. Let's go into the next game. Broncos versus Buccaneers. It's Bo Nix time, Don. It's a thing I've been preaching about for years about Bo Nix. This is exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get one game of him being so good that you're like, this is the future. And then you're going to get a few games where you're like, how do we do this? I love Bo Nix just because he's so Jameis Winston coded that it's like it just feels good. We need one of these kind of guys in the league forever, you know?
Yeah, like a wild card, go and sling it. Peyton did allow Bo Nix to kind of improvise a good amount, which I enjoyed.
Rush for a TD.
Yeah, he rushed for a TD, which that's subtle mobility we didn't expect out of him. I do think Patrick Surtain has solidified he's the best shutdown corner in the league. 1 catch for 8 yards for Mike Evans is ridiculously low.
I think he's had that. I think Sauce Gardner just has like the name because he's in New York. If Patrick Surtain was on like a winning franchise, if he was a Kansas City Chief, we'd be talking about Patrick Surtain as one of the best corners of this generation. He's really, really, really good.
No, he is amazing to see. And the ground game for Denver, we just saw a depleted Buccaneers defense, Vita Vea being out.
That whole defense is rotting.
It's rough right now for them, and I think
it's not
136 yards on the ground for Denver for a very inefficient running team. It kind of speaks for itself on where the Buccaneers secondary and front four are.
You remember a few weeks ago when I was like, hey, this defense is going to get really bad, and they're going to have to rely on Baker, and I don't know how long Baker's going to be able to play at a high enough level to where they're going to be competitive and really be interesting, and they're going to have to rely on Baker. And this is one of the first games where they were like, all right, Baker, we know you beat the Lions last week. Now do it again. And he couldn't do it again. And they were relying on him, and they were like, all right, Rachaad White, get us out of this. All right, you're not. Bucky Irving showed some flashes.
Bucky showed flashes. He only officially, I think, got 2 carries because a lot of them got called back.
Yeah, but
like a lot of his plays are getting called back. But I think he is the future at that running back position. He just has more flash than Rachaad White and better pass catching. Baker, I think, will turn around and be fine. But when the Broncos were able to control the clock, Bo Nix was able to just hit the short stuff, the snap passes. Baker just looked rough because of it.
I think they're still going to be a middle of the pack team. I think they.
That's enough to be hot in their division.
I don't think so. I think we'll talk about that division.
Sure.
Bears Colts.
Interesting.
These are two rookie quarterbacks struggling.
Yeah.
Against 2 mastermind defensive teams. Are the Colts the worst team I think I've ever seen? Yes. Did we win? Absolutely. We won that game. Jonathan Taylor's very good. The Colts probably have the best offensive line in football right now. According to PFF grades, we are amazing. The Colts have had more drop passes than any other team in the NFL.
Yes.
No one drops the ball more than the Colts. That only makes Anthony Richardson's stats look worse. I'm not sugarcoating the Anthony Richardson stuff, but the second we start doing this, the second we start saying bad things, I've written a lot of bad things to a lot of other people's favorite players. So I'm ready to go. I'm on defense mode already.
I could feel that coming off you.
So all the Bears fans that were like, Anthony Richardson sucks and Caleb outplayed him. Don't make me start turning on Caleb. I love Caleb. Don't make me do this because I have some stuff that I'm ready to unload if you want to start doing this. This also goes for you, too. I have some stuff on your boy, too, that I'll unload if you want to start being mean.
No, I was saying, this to me was more of a coaching situation. We saw 2 very different teams where the Colts changed their game plan from Richardson. I think he had 36 dropbacks last week to more focused on the ground game, which led a lot. Took a lot off his arm, took a lot of the pressure off him, leaned on your generational talent running back. That was the correct move in my mind. Versus 52 pass attempts for Caleb Williams is not correct. I don't know why they doubled down on the league's worst run defense and decided we're going to have our rookie QB throw for over 50 times. Because that is ridiculous.
The run defense got better.
The run defense
the second half of the Packer game, they figured it out. They said, we're going to just be bad at pass defense, and we're just going to be good at shutting down the offense. They tweaked it. They moved some guys around. I think the Colts' run defense will be better for the rest of the year. I think that secondary is going to be bad no matter what. Get ready to start all your receivers against the Colts.
I think it's a little bit to see, but either way, whether they made the adjustments correct or not, 52 pass attempts for Caleb Williams in this game is too much.
Yeah,
I don't care what anyone says. You're putting your quarterback in a bad spot. You're putting a lot of risk.
Yeah.
Because they were up. Bears were up at one point, and they were not controlling clock.
Yeah.
They were not helping their young quarterback. They were trying to turn this into a shootout for a team that is not built to shoot out.
Eberflus I like Eberflus. He was a Colts defensive coordinator. I think there's some coaches that we've talked about that are built to be defensive coordinators, and I think Eberflus is
one of them.
Is one of those. I think he's clearly displayed. He's won 11 games in 3 years. That's not good. And I think the longer he's in, and this coaching staff is in Chicago, the more that they can taint and put Caleb in a bad spot. It takes 1 year, 2 years to immediately come out and ruin a generational talent. We're watching it happen in Jacksonville as we speak. So let's not do it to Caleb. All right? Cool. Other than that, I don't think I have anything other to say than this is nomination for one of the ugliest games I've watched.
Yeah.
I know it was 21-16. I would much rather watch an Iowa football game than what I had to watch in that Colts game. That Colts game was ugly. Anthony Richardson missed wide open passes as he's doing. Apparently the shoulder injury, he might have rushed back a little bit, and he doesn't have the confidence. He says he makes these throws routinely in practice, but when he gets there, he gets so excited that they're so wide open that he just seems to sail it. He's 22 years old. This is his 18th game since high school. High school.
He's a child. He's a child.
Let him grow.
Yeah.
If you started a new job at 22 and you only had 18 days on the job, you got fired and you're like, well, I never got the opportunity. Just give him a few more weeks. Give him the rest of the year. Let him grow. Let the boy grow.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
Let the boy grow. You're being really optimistic, and I was not prepared for it.
I just blamed it more on the Bears. I think it was just more of bad coaching and bad play calling on the Bears more than anything in this game. Like, they're not putting Caleb in the right spot, and Swift is bad. Swift is not an efficient runner.
Swift robbed the Chicago.
He got the bag. He
shout out to
he finessed.
Texans Vikings. As a Sam Darnold boy, this is the celebration I needed. This is everything I've been vindicated for. I'm so excited that this is what it was. JJ McCarthy should get traded tomorrow. Wow. Sam Darnold's the future. JJ's right now. He's the best receiver in football. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, Jefferson
Did he drop 3 passes for first downs during the game? Absolutely. Did it matter? Not at all. CJ Stroud is a bad quarterback merchant. I will stand on the ground and say that.
That's wild.
If you look at his record against quarterbacks with winning records, it's literally 1 win. That's it. And it's Joe Flacco in the playoffs. He beats backups and bad players and bad teams. He has not beaten good teams.
I'm still have hope in the Texans here. I think a big issue was Mixon being out. Cam Akers is not starting caliber. They
he's got some friskiness.
He's got some friskiness, but I think
juice.
I want him as a 1A, 1B. I don't know why Dameon Pierce is the number 2 back on that depth chart.
Dameon Pierce got so bad so fast.
Yeah, he fell off the cliff completely.
Yeah.
I think him and Mixon will be a better 1-2 pairing. Akers doesn't have that explosiveness to carry that Mixon does. Overall, though, I think the Vikings defense is real. They are carrying this roster completely.
Brian Flores, right?
Yeah, Brian Flores is able to tune up a defense.
Wow.
I'm very curious to see how the Vikings will perform once all the weapons are back.
Yeah.
Will it be because Sam Darnold's doing great hyper targeting right now? Will this offense still? TJ and Addison supposed to be back this week. Seeing how he has to distribute the ball and deal with more people will be very telling.
Well, he's been hitting Naylor pretty often. Naylor's averaging 6 targets a game. Those targets are just going to get funneled to Addison, who's a more explosive player.
Yes, but the play calling is going to become more dynamic.
Good.
And that could be good or that could be bad. I want to see it first.
The running game's awesome. Aaron Jones is running his butt off, and Tyson Chandler's there whenever he needs a shot. This is a good team. I like this Vikings team, and it's not at all what I thought they were going to be.
No, I mean, they are blitzing at the league's highest rate right now.
Can we talk about blitzing?
CJ Stroud saw over 40% blitzes, most in his career in this game.
Can we talk about blitzes?
Sure.
This is the lowest efficiency rate on all blitzing ever in the NFL for the past 6 years. If you blitz right now, it's a 59% chance that you cause a turnover, or not
a big play?
Not turnover-worthy play, but a downed play, which is a non-gain for the offense. A non-gain or a negative gain for the offense.
Yeah, so blitz has become better.
Blitzing has become better. So, this isn't a question of the day, but it is kind of a thought that I wanted to peruse with you.
Sure.
Do you think quarterback play has gotten worse in the past 10 years?
I don't think it's gotten worse.
I think we're asking different things.
I think the defenses are more dialed to, for playing cover 2, you need to get the ball out quick.
Mm-hmm.
if you're getting blitzed at the same time, we are seeing quarterbacks throw in under 2.5 seconds consistently now.
Yeah.
You are having to make a snap judgment call. That's not something we always saw in previous generations of quarterbacks, especially with the speed and ability of D linemen now. Like the fact that Micah Parsons and TJ Watt
fly and get in your face in 30, like in 0.3 seconds, like
is ridiculous. So I think that is leaning more into it, but we are seeing a lot more. I think we're seeing a good amount of explosive plays come out of it, because when those blitzes don't work, that cover 2 is not built to hold up well.
Yeah, especially seam routes and inside routes.
Exactly. So
crossing routes.
So even if completion rates and yardage have been trending down because of this defensive adjustment, big plays have been more exciting, and I think they're occurring at a higher clip. I need to research into it a little bit, but that's just off my gut feeling.
It just feels like quarterbacks that have been playing in the league a lot longer clearly have the experience and have the wherewithal to be able to destroy these defenses. Guys like Josh Allen, who are now in veteran status, guys like Patrick Mahomes, who are dicing people up, but even Andy Dalton and even Joe Flacco last year, and even like Aaron Rodgers right now, or Matthew Stafford last week, like their ability to be like, oh, I know what's happening here. I can run this offense the way I need to run it. Sam Darnold is doing it because he's been in the league long enough.
Well,
Geno Smith 10 years ago to Geno Smith now, different guy, but could it have just been that defenses or playing quarterback was asked differently? Like you were asked to do way more back then than you are now?
I don't think you were asked to do anything differently. It's more you give time to adjust and accommodate to these defenses, and you're confident in your own ability. Colleges do not blitz like this. That is not something young guys see until they get to the league, and they are being punished because of it.
Yeah.
So I think giving him a few years, getting the reps, getting the confidence in, hey, I know what this body language means, and I know who to call and what adjustments to make, because that's the big difference between veterans and rookies. Look how many adjustments that these guys make when they come to the line. They are analyzing at a level that these younger quarterbacks just don't have the ability because they don't have the experience.
It just takes experience. It's that's my whole thing about quarterbacks. It just takes time.
Yeah,
and you can't rush them into death.
No, that's why I'm all for developing a QB for 2-3 years. I know that's not where the NFL is at anymore.
You can't do it.
You can't do it, but gonna go get a Joe Flacco for 2 seasons. It's not going to be the prettiest, but he'll win you a couple games. Go and develop a guy behind him.
But what if that develop? Then you wait. There's a world where you waste 5 years doing that.
But I mean, it's worked with Love.
It works with Love, but look at how many other organizations it doesn't work out for.
How many other organizations are developing a guy for 3 seasons before they rotate?
The San Francisco 49ers.
49ers
did with Trey Lance.
They started Lance the next season.
And then he got hurt.
But he
sat one entire year.
He sat 1 season. That's not enough to develop. Like, he's playing better with the Cowboys by practice, like by the practice
he's
squad.
On the practice squad. But
he's the listed backup, but like everyone's saying, he showed improvement. But he was also the most raw talent out of any other quarterback coming in.
Yeah,
he had the least amount of experience.
I think if you have least amount of experience, gameplay will literally help you. There's only so much you can learn off a TV screen.
But you're going to get cut quicker that way, and you're going to get written off faster that way.
You got to work. You got to work for it. You got to show you got it. Chargers versus Steelers. This is the only thing I think I've been right on this season. The Steelers are going to mess around and get into the playoffs and be a positive winning team, and they're going to do this for the rest of the year. No,
Steelers played very well. I think Fields is showing that he is a good game manager. Like I was touting last season.
You've always said he was. I was not. I was on the opposite
had the
side of
potential. I knew he had potential in this. Considering that the Chargers lost two of their best offensive linemen,
and Herbert
went down as well.
Yeah.
The minute you saw those injuries pile up, it was done. It was over.
Yeah. The second Herbert goes down, you're like, all right, they're gonna do their best. They're gonna run the ball into oblivion. But like that's what the Steelers do. Where people are like, well, the Steelers only won because. Yeah, that's what the Steelers are going to do. They're going to knock your quarterback into the ground, and they're going to be like, all right, let's win this game.
Yeah, no, they hit hard, and that's the Steeler mentality, without a doubt. But I don't like Harbaugh put Herbert in the first place, considering he had a sprain last week.
Yeah.
This wasn't a new injury. It was a re-aggravation. That's your franchise quarterback. Give him a week to recover.
On a buffer year, too. On a year where you guys don't have to be good.
No, this is a rebuilding season. Why are you starting him hurt? For a game that does not play massive importance this early on in the season.
Yeah. Are you starting to get worried about the Steelers at all? Like, are you like?
Because we're going to talk
Damn.
about them a little bit later,
Okay.
but I'm not too concerned yet.
Okay.
I don't think that they've had the big challenge team.
They're not. They'll lose those challenges.
Yeah, they'll lose the challenge games. They are just going to mop up games where, like the Chargers with injuries, they could play against better teams that get hurt, and you're going to mop up the weak opponents.
They'll win one good game. Like, they'll beat one good team.
Yeah, they always get one a season because of that defense.
And they'll beat the Ravens maybe once. Like, that's what they're going to do, and then there'll be 9 wins. And then we'll look back up and be like, how does Mike Tomlin do it?
Yeah, there's some news that is coming out about the team right now that I think is interesting.
Eagles Saints. I hated this game. I watched it with our Eagles buddy.
Yeah.
He was freaking out the whole time. I don't know what happened to the Eagles. They're just broken. That's the only thing my football brain can announce.
Smith went out with a concussion. AJ Brown wasn't even playing this week.
He didn't play. But like even before Smith went out with a concussion, it was just like, everything just feels weird.
Sirianni's a weird coach, and I don't understand his play calling. And I have a big
He's
issue
not even
with
calling
it.
the plays.
Well,
it's Kellen Moore.
No, it's Kellen Moore calling the offense. But in the second quarter and the third quarter, the Eagles went for it on 4th and short.
All right,
which is fine. That's you want to take an aggressive approach. I'm Ravens fan. I'm all for going aggressive.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Why in the fourth quarter when you're down? Do you then to go 4th and short, let's not go for it a third time, but kick a 60-yard field goal instead? You're going to end up missing the kick, which they got bailed out by the big play at the end of the 61-yard completion. But that decision-making as a coach is cowardice to me. Because you are confident until it matters.
I think he's just rattled.
Was rattled, and that's not what I wanted a head coach.
His brain's in the blender right now, and he doesn't know what to do. He's going for it on 4th because he's like...
That's what you're.
I don't know if you saw he did a little cheeky thing where he pretty much ran the same play, but it was just to Dallas Goedert on the flat, and that they lost to that Barkley dropped the week before. Where you're just like, I see what you're doing, Nick, but don't do this because it's how you alienate the players in your room.
Yeah,
and like whatever. I said before the season started, I think this Eagles team has the ability to be really good. Their defense is good. Jalen Carter is insane. He was fighting coaches on the sideline. That's how good he is. But if Nick Sirianni doesn't end up figuring it out or getting fired and them allowing Vic Fangio or Kellen Moore to step up and be the interim head coach, I don't know how far this team can go because there's so much vile rumors in the locker room.
Yeah,
I don't think this team can survive.
I don't think it's a consistent spot to be in at all, and I think Sirianni is the core of it. Meanwhile, the Saints... The defense held up for the while. The defense was looking
good defense.
great.
Tyrann Mathieu, big plays. Like, it was good.
Yeah, they were, except for the 2 deep shots that killed them at the end.
Yeah.
Like towards the end of the game, they were around. They were hanging out. The biggest issue is they couldn't get the ball going on the ground. You were missing a lineman, but that's no excuse for under 3 yards of carry for Kamara. Very bland play calling and not taking more deep shots with Olave and Shaheed when they've been able to torch defenses all season.
I don't think Kamara's that kind of running back anymore. I think he's good at what he does. I don't think he's the kind of guy you hand the ball off to a bunch of times a game. You're like, all right, go out there and get us 4.2 yards of carry.
No, he's never going to be that guy. But the idea of the Eagles the Eagles run defense stuffing it consistently, you need to adapt your play calling. If you're going to keep the short stuff, which is needed, start running through the air. Start doing some screen passes to Kamara. Start looking at some check down and swing routes. Like he is one of the best pass catching backs in the NFL.
I'm more afraid that there was
no adaptability in this game.
I'm standing on my business. I don't think the Saints were ever that good. I think they played 2 bad defenses.
I think they can be explosive if Dennis Allen is able to call the game script he wants the entire time.
I don't know.
And I don't think Dennis Allen, because we've seen it last season, I don't think he has the ability to adjust or change his play style at all.
Ever.
Ever.
Whatever the game plan is.
But so if they're up, it's going to be amazing. But if they are in tight battles or if something's not working perfectly, it's going to be a rough game.
I don't have much to say about this next game. It's Packers-Titans. Will Levis is a godsend. Everything he does is pure magic. I want him on the football field every game this year. Next year, you can give up on him, Titans fans. But for this full year, I want Will Levis. I want Will Levis, and I want more of it. Streamline that. Mainline it into my veins. I am a Colts fan. He's objectively the funniest player on the field at all times.
That man is crazy and wild, fun to watch.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Malik Willis, I think the Green Bay Packers got away with one of the best trades in the year. 7th round pick for a guy who's gone and picked you up 2 wins that are and coasting you through and so incompetent until your starting quarterback gets back.
I think
that's a great rental.
I think Matt LaFleur just showed you how he's one of the best coaches in the league.
Easily.
And he should get respected more.
Yes.
And even with a Josh Jacobs who's genuinely just a weekend at Bernie's body running in between tackles at this point.
He's doing the end of career Frank Gore where it's like 3 yards, got it.
He's only 26 years old though.
Yeah, that's very concerning. But like he doesn't have. But you have Emmanuel Wilson, I believe, coming back this week. Or no, Marshawn Lloyd.
Marshawn Lloyd's still on IR.
He should be coming back. He's expected next week, not this weekend, but next weekend.
I think he'll
in
get
the
some
next
pop.
couple weeks. He's going to bring some pop to that. And Love is tentative for this week, but more serious
we're gonna
next
get
week.
One more Malik Willis week there,
which is fine.
2-1, and they really probably shouldn't have a win. Like let's be honest. Like
they are getting away with stuff because of amazing coaching, and dynamic playmakers.
Yes, and they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing here.
I have nothing else on this team except for shout out to the Packers. Their vibe. I don't. They're doing great. Shout out to them.
No, they're doing amazing right now.
I'm really impressed by them. Giants, Browns. Holy cow, Malik Neighbors is really good and really fun to watch.
No, he's dynamic. He's elite. Giants are going back to their old ways of we have 1-star player and we are just going to funnel everything to him.
Holy cow, the Browns are really bad, and Deshaun Watson's not fun to watch.
No, Browns are missing a few of their top They had 3 O-linemen go down in this game.
And that's very important to them. Their bread and butter is that offensive line.
Yeah, that's what's needed. Watson is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL this season. I think he's taken over 16 sacks over 3 games.
Good.
That is rough to see for anybody, but I mean, for him, fine. But at the same time, Neighbors with the NFL record, first player in NFL history for 20 receptions and 3 touchdowns in his first 3 games.
Yeah, my brother kept telling me Neighbors is the best. Neighbors is the best. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure he'll be good. I just don't think it's going to be this year. And I watched this game with him, and my brother's like, this is his game. And I looked at him, and I was like, we'll see. And boy, was he right.
Yes.
Malik Neighbors looked like prime Odell Beckham in that jersey. I was just looking at this guy flying up and down the field, making aggressive catches, and I was like, oh,
this is what everyone saw.
This guy's electric. And I always knew he was really good. I was a little bit more of a Brian Thomas guy. I thought Malik Neighbors was going to be really good in the league, but man, I didn't think he'd be this. I can see the Jamar Chase comparisons. I see it.
I understand it.
Yeah, he's going to be really, really good once they figure out what the heck they're going to do on that team once they blow it all up this season.
They need to blow it up.
They're going to blow it up, Dom. Yeah. It's the demolition crew's on site already.
I hope so.
Yeah. Let's go to the Dolphins Seahawks. I would say the most boring game of the week. Skylar Thompson sucks, and we need a Tyler Huntley game ASAP, Rocky.
No, Thompson ended up going out that chest injury, bringing out Tim Boyle.
Yeah, every time you get a Tim Boyle sighting, it's like, all right, well, this game's over.
It feels like Bigfoot, though. It's like, oh, you're still here.
You're like, oh, Tim Boyle? What is it, 2017? What's going on?
Wild to see.
Yeah, I feel that way about Colt McCoy. You'll see Colt McCoy squeeze out there every once in a while, and you'll be like, Tyrod Taylor, Colt McCoy, what are you guys doing here?
But I think this has shown how much Tua has been to this offense. I think more people need to put respect on Tua's playmaking ability.
You are a Tua guy.
I like Tua, but seeing that the backup who has been with this offense consistently not perform whatsoever is like, wow, Tua was doing some amazing stuff for this team to get it to click. Like, his accuracy was needed.
I knew Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were going to take a hit because no Tua, but I thought they would still figure out an inventive way to get them the ball. Nothing. It's actually really concerning. I was like, all right, maybe Skylar Thompson's really bad. I think Huntley can really change this offense. And give Tua the time he needs until he comes back to the game.
If he comes back,
he will be coming back.
I mean, I'm going to keep the qualifier on there. I personally hope he doesn't. I love him as a player. I think he's great. For his own personal health, I really hope he does not make that decision.
Every single sign has been pointing to him coming back.
Yeah.
Geno Smith, buddy, You are statistically the most accurate quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yep.
You've got the boys going without your starting running back, who's very, very good. You got DK, JSN, and Tyler Lockett looking like absolute elite superstars, which they are. And this defense is flying. Witherspoon, Byron Murphy in the inside. These guys are getting to the quarterback. They're covering. This looks like a really good, dynamic Seattle Seahawks team. I can't wait to watch them lose in the wild card.
I think that they have more hope than I think that they could win a wild card game. McDaniels is Dolphins. McDonald's is up in Seattle. He's gotten this defense playing very, very well, and the idea that they might have the best receiver trio currently in the league.
I think they do.
I think they do, but I was adding. I'm hesitant
Caveat.
just because Jawan Jennings has shown out for the 49ers.
Jawan Jennings is really good.
He's really good.
He's always been really good.
But yeah, I think just with the ability of this team, they did lose an O lineman recently, so that might be concerning considering what we saw for Geno last season of just how often he ended up on in the dirt. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this offense is clicking. It's only going to get better when Ken Walker recovers from that oblique injury.
Yeah. Raiders Panthers. Real quick for the Panthers. Shout out to Andy Dalton. Red Rifle, always fun to see you. Deontay Johnson, I'm really excited as a Brooks owner in every single fantasy league.
Yeah.
That this might work. It all might work out. And on the Raiders side of the ball, Raiders, and that's all I got for them. They're the worst. They're the most fun team to watch. They're the worst bad team.
It really felt like the Antonio Pierce was shell-shocked.
Team. Yeah.
Considering Dalton threw the first opening drive touchdown for the Panthers since 2022.
They got punched in the face.
And I don't think that they were able to recover fast enough.
Could anyone?
The offense was able to get it going in the second half, but at that point it was just too far out of reach.
That game was insane.
Yeah.
I watched it with our Raider fan, and he was going through the 5 stages of depression. It was grief, acceptance, everything. He was...
Big qualifier, Max Crosby was playing injured.
Everyone's playing injured.
No, he has an ankle sprain.
Oh, okay.
Like, he was playing through a low ankle sprain through this game. He visibly looked as... Like, he missed snaps.
Yeah.
He came off the field, which does not happen for Max Crosby. He was trying the best he could, but that was really missing from this defense. The pass rush was gone without him.
Ravens Cowboys. Don? Ravens win.
Ravens hang
First
on.
one of the season.
Yeah, Ravens hang on this one.
How'd you feel?
We have such an issue taking our foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. I don't understand what's going on with that.
Yeah.
And this is for years. I don't get, just run the score up. Lamar Jackson's first MVP season, we ran the score up consistently and held teams down.
Yeah.
Why we moved away from that, I don't understand. I'm guessing because of the J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards injuries
just
freaks a lot of people out. But you need to keep the foot on the gas, otherwise teams will come back. The second quarter did bring up a new question for me. What is a forward pass and what is a fumble? Because Dak has me confused on what that is now.
Yeah.
That was a new interesting one. I know it's going to be discussed, and I guess it's going to be one of those points of emphasis.
In my notes I wrote, how many plays will Don call for 2 things? I said, you're going to talk about the Chiefs officiating, and I know you're going to say something about the Ravens and not say about any other team. And so far, I'm money.
No, I mean, I was worried about the Ravens.
There's questionable calls across every game.
No. I'm not. I'm curious on what the correct call there is because I don't know if that arm was going forward for Dak or not. I'm not trying to point at the refs here. I'm genuinely curious. What is the correct call there?
It was a fumble.
It was a fumble.
I think it was a fumble
because fumbling out of the end zone gets weird in certain minutes.
Fumbling out of the end zone is the worst play. If you fumble out of the end zone, the defense should get the ball.
And that's one of those weird calls. Because his arm was going forward, but did he have full grip? Yeah. And it's one of those. I think plays like that should be reviewable, just so you can understand it at home.
Yeah,
because I've rewatched that play many times, and it's a gut call. It's one of those gut decision calls, which is I enjoy. Now that the game's over, It's one of those. It's like, was it? It was the Dez Bryant wasn't a catch.
If it was a game-winning, altering situation, though, you'd be on your
if it was a game
chair screaming.
If it was a game-altering situation, I want 5 minutes by the referees going and discussing it, and then I want the head ref to walk through what that play was because I don't understand it still. Considering it was just such a borderline call either way, I want to know.
Lamar played one of the most efficient games I've ever seen.
Yeah, without a doubt.
He runs he's like a thoroughbred. It's awesome. He's awesome.
God,
I love Lamar. I love Lamar. He's so awesome.
Yeah.
And like the Ravens were running the ball with that one guy who shall not be named.
Derrick Henry brought the stiff arm back with one of the filthiest I've seen.
Didn't watch it. All his plays just get sent to spam in my brain. Defense made some plays for the Ravens, but out of nowhere, they went into prevent defense and they stopped getting to Dak, and then Dak just started like piecing people up, and he's a garbage time merchant. We all know this. Yeah. Like he loves to get blown out, and then like the last fourth quarter throw 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns and then make it look closer than it ever was. The Ravens were in control most of this game. There was a moment though where I was like, oh no, this is bad. I'm not talking about the Ravens in total. I'm talking about just Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker, we saw this is the official passing of the torch. Justin Tucker has been the best kicker in the National Football League for 10 years. He is no longer the best kicker in the National Football League.
I think he could rebound easily. He has talked about it, and he said something in the offseason happened with his leg, and now it's getting back to... He said it's not a mental issue for him. Mm-hmm. It's purely just having to rebuild his long kick. Mm-hmm. It's that he said it's more of a technical thing that he's trying to figure out.
I'm not saying he's washed. Everyone on the internet's like, there's been a bunch of 50-yard field goals this year, and only 3 have been missed. All 3 of those kicks have come from Justin Tucker.
But he's still the highest percentage under 50 in the league.
No, Brandon Aubrey is now, technically. But he doesn't have a large sample size.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't Aubrey miss one too?
No, they took it off the... No, he hit a 67-yarder, but they took it off and then instead of going for 71, they punted it.
Yeah, which was ridiculous.
He probably could have hit the 71.
Aubrey's
the
great
best kicker in the league.
I think Aubrey's
right
great.
Now.
I just think Tucker, give him a couple weeks to figure out the technical issue, and we'll see.
We've given him... Last year, this was happening though. Like the decline was starting to happen, and I was saying it as like a joke, remember? And then you're like, nah, ha, ha. But like this is the first time where I was sitting in a room with many people, and they were all like, because no one doesn't root for Justin Tucker. Yeah. Everyone loves Justin Tucker.
He's a great human being.
I'm probably the only Justin Tucker like troll, and that's because I'm an Adam Vinatieri stan. But
that's
like
true, you really are.
I still love Justin Tucker. I want him to be kicking I want him to break Adam Vinatieri's records. I want him to be in the league for another 10 years. If you put a gun to my head right now, I don't know if this Justin Tucker has 10 more years in the league. I don't.
I think he still will be very competent, even if he doesn't have the distance kick anymore. But I still have faith. Give him a few weeks.
Yeah,
he's too good of a player to not figure out whatever's going on.
How many more missed field goals until you start saying maybe let's start looking at another kicker? Because there's hot new kickers coming out every year now. The Packers got themselves one.
Yeah, I think give him another. Specifically over 50 is the only concern I have for him at the moment. I give him another 4, and then
so if he misses 4 more,
and then
50+ yarders for the rest of the year, you're going to start getting worried.
If it's 4 more that he just misses outright from like just in a row. If this streak continues, versus if he gets it back to 70-80%, fine.
So, but what if he goes like 3 for 7 from 50? That's not good.
But it depends. Like if it's 3 miss, 3 on, and 1 more miss, then he figured something out. I want to see the consistency come back. I want to see where this trend is going to head fully.
Let's go into the next game, 49ers and Rams. I don't have much to say on this game besides I love you, Matthew Stafford. You play awesome football, and I want you in the league as long as I can get you. Juwan Jennings, you're emerging as a superstar.
Yeah.
I always thought you could be, and CMC might be legit hurt, and that's really, really sad.
Yeah, CMC, he is in Germany seeing a specialist for his Achilles. A big reason why, and a lot of medical people who are way more smart about this than I am, have come out and talked that the reason a lot of these athletes, especially for Achilles injuries, go to Germany is due to the fact that Germany has a higher they're allowed to prescribe stronger painkillers than they are in the U.S.
They're not opioid situation, huh?
It's not addictive opioids, but pain management is better there. So I think
you're telling me European countries have better medical
Yes.
than U.S.?
100%.
Get out of here.
So that is to me a sign of hope that it's like, hey, he's going to the right places. They're going to figure this out. They are targeting after the bye week. I believe week 8 or week 9 is when we can see McCaffrey again.
Do you think we do?
I think we do. We're not going to go this whole season without him. There's no way.
I think we're going to get him at the end of the year.
Jawan Jennings, on the other hand, first 49ers receiver with 3 scores in a single game since Terrell Owens in 2001. Like, this man has stepped up with the lack of Kittle, the lack of IU production.
He was almost the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, he's great. I don't know why his name isn't in higher conversations.
I don't know why they went after a receiver in the first round. I get it past Parashall? Who's the guy that got shot?
Ricky
Parashall? Parcell? No, I don't remember.
You got me messing up. I knew it too, and then we just said it so many different ways.
His last name is
Parcell, I think.
I don't know.
Or Pearsall.
Ricky Pearsall. I don't know why they drafted him. I thought Jawan Jennings was going to be a perfect 3.
Yeah.
Even if he needed to be a 2, I thought he could be a 2. I loved him. Brandon Ayuk might be a little broken, but he just needs to get into game shape. That's all I
think it is very clear how important, like this season especially, how important training camp is.
You got to be in training camp.
Yeah,
be good.
You have to be in
Unless
training
you're CeeDee
camp.
Lamb and you're just good all the time, forever.
But there's no, like, CD even took a week to get really, really going to normal season
and
standards.
he slowed down a little this week too.
Yeah.
Lions, Cardinals. Lions, they're going to run it down your throat. They don't care. They know that you're going to run it down their throat. They don't care. Dan Campbell brings a certain attitude that the entire team inhabits, and it's a culture shock that genuinely I didn't think was possible in the NFL anymore. And I'm so excited about it.
I think this game should have been closer.
I do feel like the Cardinals should have won this game.
The Cardinals got, I think, a very weird call at the 2-minute warning with that near interception. If you watch the replay back, the ball was moved before the 2-minute warning, but the official called it dead because their watch,
right?
Their watch was different than the game clock. I think that's just more of a procedural error than anything, and then that allowed the hook and ladder play for the Lions. To me, the Lions were in control the entire time. Cardinals have one of the worst run defenses in the league.
I think they actually have the worst. I think they're worse than the Colts.
I think they are, but I think because of their offensive ability to create a shootout consistently, other teams have to throw on them.
I think shootout maybe. They couldn't do anything against this Lions defense. This Lions defense last week let Baker Mayfield go up and down the field on them. I think Kyler's just as capable of a quarterback as Baker is.
I think it's just more getting the mind meld with Marvin Harrison in place.
Yeah.
You have a lot of young receivers. Yeah. It's just it'll get there.
Right out now, like he got a concussion. I don't know.
This offense will pick back up. I'm not too concerned.
I don't think this. I was really excited after week 1. I was like, maybe this Cardinals team is going to be frisky. I don't think so. I think they're going to be like a 6-win team.
I think end of season they're going to get hot because that's when I think everyone's going to start meshing.
Falcons Chiefs. I don't know how to start this game.
Kirk is looking improving every week in my mind. Like from week 1 to now, he has improved consistently through all 3 games. I think that he is getting more confident, is distributing the ball very well. The fact that they couldn't get Bijan going in this game was very concerning, considering he is the anchor for this offense until Kirk is able to distribute better.
That's what's frustrating me the most.
Yeah.
This offense should be unlocked. This offense should be good. Drake London should be receiving 12 targets a game. Kyle Pitts should be receiving 8 targets a game.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson should be averaging 80 yards rushing and 40 yards receiving. This team should be flying. This team is a Lamborghini without tires. It's bad right now, and I don't know what it is. I need them to be unlocked.
No.
And I get the Chiefs' defense is good. I get that, and I understand that you can blitz Kirko all day long and he can't move in the pocket. I get that. It's just there's something, and I need them to figure it out.
It's just Kirk getting his legs back underneath him. He rushed back from this injury very quickly compared to when an older quarterback normally does, considering Rodgers had a full year. He got hurt in week 1, had a full year to come back. Kirk got hurt at the end of last season. He is pushing his body.
By week 9. Josh.
That's halfway through.
Yeah, halfway through the season.
Halfway through the season,
Yeah.
I think that like he's pushing his body back a lot faster. That's what I'm saying. Give him a few weeks, and this offense will pick up each week, which we've seen. On the other hand,
Chiefs.
I mean, they got bailed out again. The second week in a row, controversial
that was
PI.
pass
That was the most.
No, No, we're not doing that.
You don't think they got bailed out?
I don't think he got bailed out with the Bengals. That was pass interference.
Was it?
Yes.
I think both of them were going for the ball.
It's funny how you decide what pass interference is when it.
I'm just saying you had two back-to-back controversial calls that directly affected the outcome of the game for the Chiefs.
My whole thing is
2 weeks in a row.
If you're gonna go after the champs, you got to beat the champs. And that's always been a part of the game. The Patriots would get the calls, even when they played against the Chiefs. Remember that whole off the ball call that mysteriously got the Patriots the ball in the AFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl. Teams get calls.
Yes.
If you're going to beat them, you got to beat them. The Falcons were in no position to beat them. They were not.
No, the Falcons, I don't think we're going to be the team to do it. But the fact that they got that close and you have that call made, where the refs in the interview after the game were asked about this call, and they admitted one ref held his whistle.
Yeah.
The head ref openly said one ref held his whistle, the other one was supposed to make a call and didn't have an angle, and they instead of deferring to the second referee who had the correct view, they just decided to not make a call overall, which I think is bad officiating, no matter what.
Bad officiating.
Yeah, and that is an issue that we've seen not just with the Chiefs but overall in the league.
Trending around the world.
I think it's just trending across the last couple seasons is very inconsistent reffing.
I mean that's I think the thing is, for me, I've been watching it my whole life. Reffing is never, it just doesn't affect me anymore because I understand it's just part of the game, that just bad reffing is a part of the game. Yeah. And you're under the thought that you're like, no, it can be better.
It can be better.
Yeah.
Because we have games where it does show better, but the idea that these critical calls are being missed and the league, instead of going forward and, hey, let's review things, let's take the time. Like hockey has taken this step. MLB has taken this step.
The NFL doesn't want to review every single play.
Not every single play,
but people complain already that every play there's a flag, because that's how football is kind of built. It's not supposed to be such a rule-oriented sport. It's supposed to be gray area. That's the point of that's what football is.
Well, that's every sport is going to have some gray areas, but the fact that every other league is
so technical.
A lot of them are technical, but the idea that you're able to make snap calls in on the moment in soccer. Like you have the VAR system that is able to pick these things up in the moment and not hold back the game.
I have an issue with soccer too, where they do virtual offside line.
That's the VAR, yeah.
And I hate that. I'm like, that's not how the sport was meant to be officiated. You're adding that,
but it gets rid of the human error.
I like human error.
Okay.
I don't want robot umps. I'm that guy.
And I'm fine moving towards it because it gets rid of the issues we've had in the last 2 weeks in Chiefs games.
I'm going to ask you a question about the Chiefs, and then we'll move on.
Sure.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
I'm going to put his line at season total yards and touchdowns.
Okay.
And you tell me if you would take the over or the under.
Sure.
500 receiving yards, 4.5 touchdowns.
Over.
You're taking the over well over? Or do you think that's the ballpark?
I think yardage-wise, that is the ballpark. Touchdowns is going to be well over.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna minimize usage of Kelce until the end of the season and then start ramping him up.
You're one of the guys that all right, in the playoffs, kind of like the Gronk method, where they're like, Gronk just started becoming just a playoff guy, and he would show up for 2 or 3 games.
He's the specialist guy. He's too old now, where he's just going to be in the critical moments, and then so that way he's healthy for those critical moments. And I think he's turned into that.
Monday night games, Jaguars, Bills. I saw the Bills do an opening walkout before the game started. I immediately went to my gambling app. I immediately bet the Bills minus 14.5, and it was the best bet of my whole weekend. The second I saw what that crowd was doing, I was like, oh, I bet Josh Allen 2.5 passing touchdowns. He hit 4. I was just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
The Bills are great, and Trevor Lawrence is broken.
Trevor Lawrence now has worse stats in his career than Daniel Jones. I think that's very concerning for what was touted to be a generational talent. The fact that he is,
I don't think it's his fault.
I'm not blaming him fully. Some of it is his fault, like his trying to push through playing through injury when that's not the best call for the team versus wait a week, heal up better.
Or maybe be more creative on the offensive side of the ball.
I think the offensive side needs to. I think moving ETN is still good, but distributing the ball outside of just him, Kirk has not been it this season.
Yeah.
He is missing critical passes.
Brian Thomas is clearly the best receiver on that team.
Yeah. I think that a lot of adjustments need to be made. I hope Evan Ingram getting healthy is going to make a big splash back into this offense. But Doug Peterson has become vanilla.
Don, can I ask you a question about the Jaguars?
Sure.
If they continue to go down this winless cycle,
Yeah.
and they end up with a 3-win team, 4 wins, do we press the reset button?
Yeah, we press the reset.
Do the cons, because the cons before the season were saying this is the best their roster has ever been since they took over ownership.
And this roster isn't. I think that you need to make some very hard decisions and hard looks at this roster. You went and paid Kirk so much money.
They paid Lawrence. They played Josh Hines Allen or Allen Hines or whatever his name.
Josh Hines Allen, and I think he's making it back. He's been very strong.
He's been okay.
But I think they took
Walker over Aiden Hutchinson in the draft.
Yeah,
and he has not been the star that they needed him to be. If they had Aiden Hutchinson on that D line, I mean, who knows? Because it's Jacksonville, and I think Aiden Hutchinson was born to be a Lion. But dang, that would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be a dramatic improvement where the team sits right now.
Anything else you want to talk about this game?
Other than Mitchell Trubisky showed out.
Shout out to Mitchell Trubisky. It's always fun to watch.
It's always fun.
Is he top 5 backup in the league right now?
I don't think top 5, but okay. he's a strong one. Commanders,
Bengals. I have a lot to say about this game. I think this is going to be our most talked about game.
Sure.
So I'm going to go quick. I'm going to start with the Commanders. The Commanders have a quarterback. They don't just have a quarterback. They have the quarterback. They have what everyone saw in C.J. Stroud. The thing that everybody sees in C.J. Stroud is what I see in Jaden Daniels. I love Caleb Williams. I really do. I like Drake May, too. I love Anthony Richardson, and I like Bryce Young, and I like C.J. Stroud. And I'm very close to say that Jaden Daniels is going to be the best one out of all these kids.
He's definitely going to have the best rookie season.
I think he's electric.
He is developing very well. I think a big part of that is giving him a strong O-line, competent coaching, and strong weapons around him, which very few other teams have done for their rookies.
A defensive-oriented head coach that is putting him in well-rounded positions.
Yeah, Dan Quinn has been in the league forever for a reason. He is one of the better veteran coaches, I think, out there. He's one of the best defensive coaches out there, and I think having him train up a young kid is exactly what you need.
Terry McLaurin is so good, and I feel like we're getting no one gives him respect, and he is better than Garrett Wilson. He is better than Chris Olave. He is better than a lot of these wide receivers that easily. I think he's better than DK Metcalf, or he's at least in that area. He should
be
special,
but
he's so special.
Yeah, but the idea that he hasn't had a competent quarterback for so many years,
yeah, I know
that's what's holding him back.
When I watch Jaden Daniels, I know he's taking hits. Jaden Daniels, and I called you and I told you this. He's the closest thing I've seen to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
he is the closest clone, and I'm bought in. I'm ready to be like, let's do this, Commanders fans. Let's. He's the perfect quarterback that I love to root for.
Yeah,
and he's so much fun.
I can't wait for this. This team needs to shore up their run defense a little bit more, and then once they get that in place, I think this team can go compete.
Can I say something crazy?
Sure.
I think this team can win the division.
Considering how bad the Cowboys' defense is due to injury right now, yeah I can see it.
Saying that,
it doesn't seem far-fetched.
I didn't write anything else on this except for Don might be right about the Bengals. Don?
I mean, they can't perform in the red zone. You saw 3 field goal tries within the 30 in this game, or I think in the first half alone in this one. They
look stale.
No, my apologies. Not first half. Second quarter.
Yeah.
They went for a field goal within the 33 times. They're stale. I don't think... And you have Jamar Chase very upset. Teams are
he wants to get paid.
Well, I mean, he deserves to get paid. He is one of the better receivers in the league. But considering the defenses have figured out cover 2 on Jamar Chase, they are badly missing Mixon right now because Zach Moss, Chase Brown is not it in the backfield.
Zach Moss has some pop. But he's not Joe Mixon.
He's not Joe Mixon. And you need a better running back to balance this team out, because if you remove Jamar Chase from the equation, which we saw, single coverage, they went to him immediately, he performed. Double coverage, they didn't even target him. Someone else needs to step up. T. Higgins is not that guy right now. He is not stepping up in any way to help this team.
He just got back from the injury.
He did get back from the injury.
I think in a few weeks. Here's the thing. I'm still a little scared to be like, the Bengals are bad, because I know that the Bengals could also just be like, all right, and in November and December, we're good again. But like, I'm afraid that you might be right. They might dig themselves in too deep of a hole that.
And I think the biggest red flag for me still is that secondary. And I was saying that at the beginning of the season. That was on our predictions. I was pointing out they do not have anyone in the safety and corner position that is going to shut anyone out, and they have no depth there to go cover teams that can attack you from multiple angles.
Yeah,
this defense will be the Achilles heel. And it's the fact that they refuse to pay their linebackers and safeties, and they can. They have the cap space.
They plead poor.
Yeah, and you need to put money in. That's a whole other problem there. You need to put money into your team, keep these top guys around, because that's what's going to shore up these defenses, and that's what's going to help you in these critical games.
Let's get into bust of the week. My bust of the week is the entire Pac-12 over the weekend, and over the week. It's the Pac-12's kind of tried to revive themselves by stealing a bunch of Mountain West teams. They got teams like Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State to come with Washington State and Oregon State. They also reached out to the ACC, the American Coastal, just the American Conference, to get Memphis, Tulane, UTSA, another school that I'm blanking on, and they officially said, no, we're not doing it. Kind of telling the Pac-12 that you're going to stay dead. They're trying to absorb the Mountain West, and they're actually suing the Mountain West for tampering. We'll see how that goes. Which is an interesting
one. We'll see.
The Pac-12 just clearly... They also reached out to Stanford and Cal, and Stanford and Cal's like, we'll just play in the Atlantic Conference. It's a better conference for us anyway. The Pac-12 is trying to come back. It's also getting sued by Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush is also suing USC, the NCAA, and the Pac-12 for his name, image, and likeness over the past few years. The Pac-12 is just getting it on all ends, and I think it just needs to die.
I think all of college football conferences need to be rearranged at this point.
I think so too.
I think it's not just a Pac-12 issue; it's a NCAA issue at this point in time.
How are UTEP Miners doing?
Not the best. I mean, that's fine.
You're like, I really wish you just landed on Tennessee, huh?
It would have been more fun, but I don't mind that. But no, Reggie Bush should get paid. The fact that the NCAA and USC have continued to use it. Like his image, and he hasn't gotten paid is ridiculous.
I think it'll get settled by USC very quickly. They'll be like, yeah, we'll pay him.
But I'm curious on the NCAA one. Reggie Bush seems like the guy that will push them to the limit,
and he has the fan background to like really get the push.
He has the public support, without a doubt.
Here's my thing though: if they start being like, if this starts becoming a thing where we have to pay older players for their name, image, and likeness, and the NCAA is like, all right, then we're just gonna not give you guys the rights, and I lose my video game over it. And I stop getting my new NCAA football video game, I will hate Reggie Bush for the rest of my life.
I think, to me, I don't think it's going to be an NCAA call very long. I think it's going to. I think the decision will be taken. Soon. Yeah, that organization's shot.
Don, bust of the week.
Bust of the week for me is the Carolina Panthers. We saw this offense is competent with Andy Dalton. To me, this is a issue with how they developed Bryce Young. The fact that they threw him to the wolves and are now. Like the fact that they've taken him out, they've kind of ruined this kid's career for the short term. And I'm blaming that on the organization there. He had a lot of potential. You needed to develop him better.
He needs to get traded to the Rams tomorrow.
He needs to get traded out of Carolina. We've seen when a team refuses to adapt to their player, they want to force their player into their system. You get the Sam Darnold on the Jets. You get
Geno Smith on the Jets.
Geno Smith. Well, it's a lot of the Jets.
Teddy Bridgewater on the Jets.
You get Taylor Heineke and all the issues that Washington has seen for the last few years. The Sam Howells. You need to develop your system for a young kid around their strengths bring it out. You cannot force them into it until they're a veteran, where we see like Andy Dalton can walk into any offense now and be competent for the most part.
We'll see how long those wheels stay on the bus.
I think he has.
We'll see.
I think if he starts the rest of the season, he'll have 4 or 5 really good games.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's just where he's at.
Yeah. Let's get into play ball. We're going to go through 7 matchups for week 4. We're going to go through them a little fast, but we're going to go through them. Make a predictions, make a pick for every single one of the games. We're going to start with the Cowboys and Giants. It's Thursday Night Football. We talked a lot of crap about the Cowboys. We praised the Giants a bit.
Yeah.
Why am I taking the Cowboys -6, Don?
Because I really just don't trust the Giants here too much.
Neither do I. But
We're
it's
finally
6 too
seeing
many points.
6 is a lot of points. I think the Cowboys are finally making the full transition over to Rico Dowdle in the backfield, which I've been.
I don't know if that's good. I don't think that's
he
good.
has more juice. I don't care what it is.
It's bad juice. It's spoiled. It's all spoiled juice.
They should have gotten a running back.
They were using a fullback last week.
Yeah, they should have went and gotten more guys to this position. The Deuce Vaughn, Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott trio is not it.
There's got to be someone out there. There's got to be
Melvin
someone
Gordon's
out
still
there.
floating. Go get him at
go
this
get
point.
Melvin Gordon. That's actually the worst.
I'm just saying, go get
go trade
somebody.
for Dameon Pierce
Yeah, go get Dameon Pierce. He'd be more competent at this
for
point.
like $1.
But the fact that out of the 3, Dowdle is the best. And this offense needs to move away from the power run that they like with Zeke. Start getting Dowdle in space. Start using him as a guy out of the backfield, and I think they could be much improved. For me, I'm taking over 44 in this game. I think it's either going to be Cowboys run it up.
I think that's a good idea.
Because this division is petty. This division is mean to each other.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys get the lead, they're going to run the score.
I agree with you. I think I'm going to take the over too.
Or if the Giants get close, which I could see Malik Neighbors having a field day on this depleted Cowboys secondary, it will hit over 44 due to back and forth. Either way, I like it.
Would you take a Neighbors touchdown?
I like Neighbors touchdown.
What about a Wandale Robinson catches? He's been getting a ton of targets.
I don't know his catch line at the moment.
I think it's like 4.5.
I was going to say last I saw was 3.5. I can see him for 4, maybe 5 if this game is close.
Colts versus Steelers. Another competition, ugly football game of the week.
This will be gross.
This is going to be a 7-13 game if I've ever seen it. I think the Steelers are going to win this game. I think Steelers start off 4-0. I think the Colts. This is the antithesis of what they want to see at this point right now.
Yeah. I think if they stick to the ground game and you get Richardson to hit a deep bomb occasionally, just even if you overthrow your guy, just overthrow it, but keep the defense pressed back.
Yeah.
I think that will be the recipe for this offense here.
I think so too. I think the Colts defense is going to work really well, especially because Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris are a little bit banged up.
Yes.
I think they're going to have to rely on Justin Fields. I think the Colts defense has figured out some stuff.
Yeah.
On the run side, I think Justin Fields is going to have some moments. Sneaky game. I think I'm going to take the Colts money line. I know the Steelers are going to win this game.
It feels like it could be a trap game, though.
That's the only basis.
That's what you're betting on.
And I can't bet against the Colts, and I'm not taking an over or an under on this game. I have to take the Colts money line.
I'm taking whoever is starting a running back for the Steelers, whether it's Najee. He's healthy. He's questionable. We don't know how the practice went for the rest of the week. We're filming this early in the week, so we don't know. But things are trending where he's likely to play, and if he's not, then Warren, whichever the two, rushing touchdown. I
would say Najee Harris rushing touchdown might be automatic.
I think it's automatic, and the only reason I'm qualifying it is if he's out, Jaylen Warren rushing touchdown automatic.
Let's go to the Eagles Buccaneers. I like both these teams in a gross way, but I think one of them doesn't know what to do offensively and can work really well on the defense.
Yeah.
And I think Baker's in a tough spot. I think 45.5 is one of my favorite bets.
It's not a bad bet to me, considering Devonta Smith is likely out for this game with his concussion.
A.J. Brown might be back.
They are going to rush A.J. Brown back for this one.
And I don't know if I like that.
With a hamstring injury, that is very concerning for me. I think A.J. Brown does see the end zone if he plays, considering he's the most competent receiving guy here. But I think the entire Philly offense will be Saquon just gashing the Buccaneers. Vita Vea,
so good.
Well, Vita Vea is likely to be out again this week. It's trending at the moment. They had Javonte Williams and Jalen McLaughlin go for 136 yards on the ground against them.
Yeah, they were.
Now imagine Saquon
They were going off.
I like Eagles -2.5.
Eagles -2.5.
Eagles -2.5 here.
I didn't expect that from you. I thought you were going to go for Bucks.
No, I think this is going to be a fun game. It's going to be a messy game. I think Saquon is just going to carry everybody.
I think it's like a 21-17 type game.
That's fine.
I got Chargers and Chiefs, an ugly game because I really think Herbert's going to be out.
He's still in a boot as of practice this morning.
So we're recording this on Tuesday night. If he ends up playing, it's not a Justin Herbert I'm very excited to play on a Chiefs defense that blitzes a lot. They're going to run the ball as much as they can, but I have the Chiefs minus 7.5. I would take the line to 9.5.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I was going to take it at 8 by the extra half point for the Chiefs. I think it's a Taylor Heineke game starting over there.
Oh, Taylor Heineke can be kind of frisky.
He could be a little frisky, but I don't think this offense is built.
Yeah, he doesn't have the weapons that he used to.
Joshua Palmer's still banged up. Chiefs are really good at taking away your number one receiving threat, which is Quentin Johnston. I think that...
Hey, don't talk about Ladd McConkey like that.
Ladd is great. I don't think he is good enough to carry an entire team receiving yards wise. I do want to sprinkle a little bit on Will Dissly when that line comes out. Heineke likes going to his tight ends.
Silly Dissly.
And so Dissly being a very, very strong tight end in my mind, the guy who slept on in the receiving game, could be interesting.
Bills, Ravens, Dawn. I would say probably the best game of the weekend.
Yeah.
The Bills, the hottest team in the NFL.
Yes.
The Ravens are a really good team, and they need to win games now.
Yes, they are. They are in the push for the early season. They need to pick up a few more. I think this is the AFC heavyweight bout of the last and next few weeks. This is going to be a lot of fun. To me, the biggest thing is the Ravens will take away James Cook for the most part. The Ravens have allowed 50 on average in the first 3 weeks, 50 rushing yards per game at the moment. James Cook has been the backbone of this team with over 100 all-purpose yards every single week so far.
He does it he almost caught another touchdown last week, and he dropped it. They use him so well out of the backfield.
They use him in every
I think they're just going to put Kyle Hamilton on him and be like, that's your guy, beat him.
I think that's what they're going to end up doing here because Kincaid he had a few moments last week, but he's clearly not the focus of the game plan. Mm-hmm. Shakir is the number one guy on this offense.
But they're spreading the ball out.
But they are spreading the ball out very, very well. Ravens, meanwhile, I think are going to get the ground game going pretty well. Buffalo is 19th ranked in the league right now. Against the run. Yeah, they're just not the best there. And especially with Henry finally popping off, I have a lot of faith in the Ravens ground game getting moving. For me, I'm taking over 45.5. I'm very confident in that bet.
I have the exact same bet.
Yeah. Out of the 6 games these two teams have played, 5 out of the 6 have hit the over so far. Both these teams can go up and score almost at will when they're clicking on all cylinders.
I like the over. I did tell all my friends last week, we have to remember that unders still exist. So I told myself I have to take 3 unders this week eventually.
Interesting.
We'll figure out when that is. Because
I
have not many more on my plate. Titans versus Dolphins. You remember how I said about unders?
Yes.
I'm taking the over in this game. 36.5. 36.5. I know Will Levis can score. They've done like 17. That's all I need from them. And then I get another 20 out of the Dolphins, which I do think they're capable of doing as long as I don't get Skylar Thompson. If I get Tim Boyle, then we don't take this bet at all.
So McDaniels has announced that they are planning either tomorrow, being Wednesday or Thursday, they will announce it's the Monday night game, so they have a little bit of time to announce starting quarterback. My gut says it's Huntley. They did not go and get him for no reason.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm betting Tyreek Hill gets into the end zone again. I think that they're going to score. I think Huntley is a very, very good quarterback for being a backup. I think the Titans' defense is good, but they can be exposed, and their offense is very kneecapped outside of Pollard.
Yeah, Pollard seems... we saw the ghost of Hopkins for like a few plays. Calvin Ridley looks awful, and
it's not even Ridley's fault. It's the idea that Will Levis, even on when he goes to hit Ridley, cannot get him consistently.
You were kind of a secret Will Levis guy.
I liked him in the beginning of the season. I was like, okay, if he takes a step forward, he has the rushing ability because he has that kind of Josh Allen big frame where he's going to go run on people.
He's not as big as Josh Allen.
No, he's not as big as Josh Allen, but I'm saying, and he has a cannon. Will Levis can throw the ball.
He can. He can
deep
whip
and
it.
far. He can whip it. But just the decision making is mind-boggling.
It's not great.
I thought it would get out of his system in the last few games. I think by the end of the season they're back with Tannehill.
No, I think they've moved away from Tannehill.
I don't know if Will Levis ends the season. If he continues on this pattern.
Just think they'll just play whoever. Yeah. I think they clearly we're going after Carson back next year.
Probably.
Seahawks versus Lions. I have the Seattle Seahawks plus 3.5 against the Lions.
Yep.
Look, I know the Lions are really good, but 3.5 points is a lot for me. I think the Seattle Seahawks, I talked about them. I think Geno's really good. I do think they're going to lose this game,
Yes.
but I think they cover 3.5.
Seahawks are down 2 of their starting O-line in this game. So
That's huge.
Yeah. Well, two left last week. We'll see how the health goes. If they are out, I think Hutchinson for 2 sacks.
We might win Defensive Player of the Year. We might need to sprinkle some money on that.
Yeah, get it early.
Yeah.
I say, well, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Hutchinson for 3 sacks isn't out of the realm.
Well, that's a lot of sacks.
That is a lot, but I would take Hutchinson at least 2 sacks if those 2 linemen are out in this game. Geno's going to be on his back a lot. We'll see if Ken Walker's healthy, but if not, Zach Charbonnet should be able to get a touchdown here as well.
Zach Charbonnet's going to score a touchdown every game.
Yeah, but the odds are still favorable enough where you can get him pretty well.
Don, let's go into question of the day. We're talking a lot about football lately, so I want to switch the topic to something a little different. I want to talk about Ohtani. I want to talk about baseball, and I want to give you a question.
Okay.
But I got to give you a little story time first.
All right.
Shohei Ohtani, for those of you who don't know, just broke one of the only records he's the only person to ever have 50 stolen bases and 50 home runs.
Yes.
Now, are there people out here complaining about, well, they changed the leadoff rule, so you can't, throw people out anymore, so getting the first to second is very easy. Sure, it's still an incredible feat.
Yes. Yes, they changed the rule, but then why aren't more guys getting more stolen bases?
Correct. Then
that's the counter argument there.
He's also hitting 53 home runs, and every day, it's not out of the possibility they have 10 more games and he can end up finishing with 60-60.
Yeah.
When no one's even on 50-50.
No, I think Judge has 56 home runs as of today. He's the only guy in that realm, and he doesn't steal bases.
And he's got 3 less home runs than Ohtani. Anyway, here's the question of the day. At what point do we acknowledge that baseball might be dead?
I don't think baseball's dead. I think we're going to see an evolution here. Ohtani is leading up this idea of...
Why isn't Ohtani everywhere?
He is. I mean, we're around LA, so it is a little different.
It is.
And I think it's the idea of the MLB
as an organization. He should be on every commercial.
He should be, but he doesn't speak English.
Yes, he does. He's in the That's the funniest part of this all. He clearly speaks English. He clearly gambles on the games.
Yes,
still.
Without a does.
He's in the dugout, dabbing boys up, laughing. They're drinking soju. They implanted that bar for him. It's.
Well, we've seen that. We've seen more cultural nights and more outside of just the traditional baseball.
But he's out there
infiltrate across the MLB. Fortunately,
he's out there having a good time. Clearly laughing and joking with the rest of the team with no translator in the dugout. I think he's just a genius.
I think, to me, he hasn't officially broken that, so that's going to limit his commercial viability in terms of the Patrick Mahomes kind of commercials and such.
Be on State Farm commercials. He should be quite literally on every single commercial. He's the most dynamic baseball player I've ever seen in my life.
He just does the Adidas one.
I need more.
That's it.
I need him quite literally.
No, he needs to get more endorsements.
Subway sandwiches. I'll eat the Ohtani. It's like a spicy banh mi. I don't know what's Japanese sandwich. What's a Japanese sandwich?
They make a really good katsu
sandos. Yeah. Let's do that at Subway.
Or the egg salad sando.
You'd order the egg salad katsu sando from Subway right now. Sponsored by Shohei Ohtani.
I get it once to try it. I can't lie. I'd have to.
Just as also.
But no, I do agree. Ohtani needs to get more out into I think the league needs to push him further.
Okay. All right, cool. I got a pick of the week. Mine is Alabama +2 versus Georgia. I think Alabama's going to win this game. Am I biased because I have a Jordan Milroe Heisman future, and this is what Heisman dreams are made of? Absolutely. Am I kind of chasing the big bag because USC lost to Michigan last week on some of the worst officiating I've ever seen in my entire life? Yeah. Absolutely. But we rage on. Pick of the week, Alabama +2. Don?
For me, I'm taking the Bears -3 at home against the Rams. Rams do not travel well. They are 5-14 in their last 19 road games.
I'll be honest, this is a very brave pick.
This is a brave pick. I am betting a good amount. I think the line has moved to 2.5, somewhere around there right now. But The Rams defense have given up 26 points to the Lions, 41 points to the Cardinals. That team is depleted. I think Caleb can get things going now that you have Keenan a little bit more healthy. You have Rome showing out last week. DJ Moore is good. I think this Bears offense will start clicking a little bit better. Chicago's riding a 6-game home winning streak dating back to last season, and they've covered 2 out of 3 games already this year. I think this is the Bears' best this is us game, especially after a big win for the Rams last week. If the Bears are going to solidify themselves as, hey, we can flirt with these NFC teams and get close to the wild card, show this dramatic improvement, this is one of those must-win games.
And if you take his bet and my bet, put it on the Pray for the Parlay. It's a plus 230.
Yes.
Go ahead, put your lunch money on that. Go get lunch for the next 2 days. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Bust Picks, episode 44. My name is Dio. That's Don. And remember,
Pray for the Parlay.